this is a topic that I've been wanting to speak about for a while. A couple days on my channel on here, I've come on here and told you all about the very suspicious activity with spams, trolling, imposters, account hackings, scams, spams, you name it. I told you all that I had a lot of fears and deep concerns with YouTube because, I normally upload on YouTube solely. And in that video, I told you all adamantly how I do not have a lot of faith in these social media apps. I continue to explain to you all that I do not feel comfortable with having a lot of open-ended social media accounts like on Facebook, fan pages, Instagram accounts. And if you listen to the video carefully, which I know a lot of you did, I explained how I was afraid of this exact issue. And a lot of influencers, a lot of business owners, a lot of people who want to do good online have their own desires to expand how they do business. They have their own desires and how they want to connect with the outside world and other countries and regions and markets. And, this is my concern. And on the heels of Mercury retrograde, of course, we all knew this was coming, right? We all knew this was coming. On the heels of good old Mercury retrograde, this has occurred. Okay. Yesterday was mayhem for good and bad reasons. I saw a lot of mixture in terms of the reaction to the whistleblower who has blew the top off the Facebook lid, so to speak, in terms of the effects on young women, trafficking, how they're stealing data, how they're selling to us. There has been so much information out here. But here's the thing, it's not just Facebook. It's not just Facebook. It's definitely Instagram as well. But I'm very happy that we do have somebody who's credible. I listened to her live hearing earlier, and, when I got the time to, off the clock. And honestly speaking, I have a lot of respect for that young lady, okay? Whoever was a whistleblower for Facebook, I have a lot of respect for her because it takes a lot of guts, you all. Especially with corporate America. Are you kidding me? It's going to take buns of steel, to face those tech guys. And I've been telling you all for a very long time now that there is something very fishy. Something very fishy going on with these social media sites, and it's a dang shame that we have to be so cautious with how we even talk and what we even choose to discuss even on Twitter. The other day, there was a story about the young lady who was murdered by a cop in England. And I commented about how, the guy was cold as ice and probably didn't feel guilty, and that, the death penalty should be, still exists for things like this, where people are just outright killing innocent women. And I was banned for 11 hours on Twitter. Now, I've never got banned off Twitter. Now, this is for justice. There was other people, other women especially, who were saying, this is horrible. This guy should be in the slammer. This guy was running, freely on the streets and taking women. He should not be allowed to breathe, And all I simply said was that, he deserves a death penalty because he does. He deserves it. And this guy looked heartless. All I said was the guy is heartless. And for cases like this, he deserves the death penalty. Now, there was other men, okay, no offense, but there was other men who were in the same thread as me, who were tweeting freely, who were saying how, oh, the girl shouldn't have did this and the girl should, the typical, it's her fault, let's victim shame. Let's try to make a false story to get away with murder, basically. And I'm pretty sure one of those guys reported my tweet. I'm almost certain, because I've never had that issue. So where is the boundary, right? Where is the lines between freedom of speech and activism versus propaganda and trying to steal our data and try to give people insecurities and eating disorders and bullying and trolling and spamming, of all ages. But what was so telling to me after the fact that Facebook was down, Instagram went down, WhatsApp went down, and so many others was even Gmail. Okay, even Gmail went down, was the fact that on the heels of all this, the whistleblower was explaining how it's affecting young women the most. Suicide rates have gone up. It's not doing a lot of good. And I've been saying this for the longest, that I don't understand, even with YouTube, I don't understand why it's not stricter and why sometimes people can't be watched. So even in my case, when I was talking about justice and how, this is not right, and I guess somebody didn't like me saying that this guy is cold and obviously was enjoying, getting away with murder, I was even blocked for saying that this guy is cold. Now, what about that was a problem? I have no idea. But I think the fact that the word death penalty being in the sentence, or I think was why they did that. And I had no problems with that. But then what about the other people? What about everybody else who was saying it's her fault, and girls shouldn't dress like this and girls shouldn't do that? But yet this is a cop who used his job to target this lady, to rent a car and kill her. Cold-blooded. Yes, he's cold-blooded. And there was other women that were tweeting about, how awful the murder was, and their comment was taken off. So somebody obviously didn't like the fact that women are speaking up for themselves. And so, the whole social media thing to me is out of control. I think it's to the point now, you all, where they're fooling us. They're using us, especially women. Women are always a target. I think it's so funny how, especially in Western countries, we are what makes the world go round, from engagement rings to makeup to cars to baby products. Without a woman just simply existing, these things do not happen. Okay, these things do not happen. Women are not able to. How can I describe this? But it's in a way where women are just, I'm going to move because there's two guys over here. I'm just going to move real quick. 1 second, y'all. There's two guys walking across. I'm just going to move for my safety because people are really creepy nowadays. It's getting creepy out here, y'all. So since all this has been going down, I've been paranoid in a healthy way. If I see guys walking towards my car, I'm moving. Okay, I don't trust anybody these days. Even though I'm in a nice area, I'm in a nice park, I don't care. Okay, I don't trust a soul these days. But I wanted to walk and get some fresh air, but I gotta go where it's safe, y'all. And we'll discuss that later on in this video. So the truth be told, I think that social media has done a lot of damage. Social media can do a lot of good, but it also can do a lot of harm. And so the whistleblower and so many other CEOs and people who work for these tech companies need to speak up. They need to start to address these issues, you all, because if we don't have more whistleblowers and we don't have more people who really care about, privacy and security and protecting women and children, then we're going to see a society that no child can be born into. And I really mean that. We're going to live in a world, you all, where nothing is safe and nothing's okay. We already seen how, the revealing of a lot of suspicious behavior and activity within couples, right, has caused divorce to be normalized and has caused people to see how people are cheated on, So there's so many complex, I feel, areas to what helps us and what's harming us. And so I think whistleblowers like this, I think her name is Miss Hagen. I think whistleblowers like her, and thank God she spoke up. I mean, I kind of question, would a man do this? Would a six-figure income earning man, go before Congress and be a whistleblower? Besides, today and this year, because they make a lot of money, you all. And the fact that a woman put herself on the line, I really have a lot of respect for her. I know she'll never see this video, but I have a lot of respect for her. So it's women like her who've been in the business, been in the industry, worked countless years, have the credibility, have the work history. Women like her, and other people who work in the tech industry and business fields and marketing and all this stuff, they need to make the wise decision, before government, before God, most importantly, and before the citizens of this country and other nations and other everywhere, that we have a stake in, is this helping our society? Is this helping civilization, or is this hurting it? Okay, which one is it? Let's stop playing this oh well, and making excuses. Okay, because if this is doing a lot of damage in terms of national security and health and mental health and relationships and the foundation of marriage and families and young kids, and how these criminals are trafficking people, killing women, stealing people's information, then it got to stop. Okay, we got to put a stop to it. And honestly, how fitting, how fitting that it's when 6 other planets are in retrograde, Mercury retrograde. I mean, it just doesn't get more real than this, you all. You know what I'm saying? So on one end, I was delighted because I'm like, some people are addicted. Sometimes people are never off social media. So on one end, I was like, great. People can finally get a life. But on the exact opposite end, I'm thinking to myself, well, people enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Some people enjoy it, and that's how they connect with other people, and that's how they have their business flourish, or small business, e-commerce. So it's a very, very tough situation, that I think especially America, once again, this country really needs to take a good look in the mirror, and I think that this has gone on for too long. I mean, I deleted my Facebook account as soon as I caught wind that they sell our data, and I was being bombarded with advertisements a lot of the times. And when I caught wind that, people could post things on your wall and people can stalk your relationship and write on your wall and all that weird stuff. As soon as I was seeing a lot of like stalker behavior and like data stealing behavior, I was off there. Like as soon as I saw like major issues with Facebook, I deleted my Facebook years ago. I've never been on the site in over a decade. That's how much I loathe Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. I don't believe in Facebook. And quite frankly, after that whole revelation, way back when was revealed, I was really shocked that people were still on it, and that's social media addiction for you. People run to the exact same things that they think are going to keep them safe and are going to keep them, healthy and safe and all sorts of things. People run to things and apps and mechanisms that they think are going to make them more popular or whatever. But you know what? It's really hurting you. You see what I'm saying? It's doing more damage than good. So when I deleted my Facebook, and I caught wind about that, and I know a lot of people who work in the tech industry, I mean, different things like that. And I also studied different topics, different subject areas in college about this. I've studied marketing, so I know all about manipulation. So when you study the same thing that they're using on people, and myself, as a consumer, with certain brands, you wise up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Especially women. I would advise for women to investigate. How do they advertise to us? How do they get our attention with these different schemes? Because that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I've done. Okay, I studied marketing in college amongst other tech related areas of subject matter. So I know a lot about the dirty ways they strategically target us. So because of what I studied in college and I graduated, congrats to me recently, I deleted Facebook years ago, years ago. And I thought that when people found that out, they were going to leave in a skip. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, they didn't. Come to find out, a lot of people still kept their profile and still kept posting their personal family pictures and milestones on Facebook. And people have no idea that they're using that exact same platform to outsource your information and to get you in a lot of dirty stuff, to be honest with you, a lot of dirty stuff. So, Instagram, is another one of those platforms that I don't agree with. It's just Instagram and Facebook have always been the two main platforms that I just don't, and TikTok, okay, that I just don't jive with. My gut tells me a hard no. For so many reasons. The lack of privacy, okay? The marketing, the constant bombardment of ads, to take your money. This is all to pump up the beast-like system. This is all to get your money and to mess up your relationships and to contrap and wart your mind, to create diseases, to create addictions, to create this energy of competition and insecurity, and comparison is a thief of all joy. And a lot of those apps do that, a lot of them do that. And every now and then they try to mask it with this energy of, this matters, and we've improved this, and sign up for this. But like, they really have not made any changes. And that whistleblower's testimony just proves that. Like, they think they're above the law. I think that they said that Facebook brings in roughly $40 billion. I mean, this is scary numbers. Why on earth would one platform bring in that much money? That's like the power level of a president, or even maybe a communist dictator. I mean, when you have that much money, when you have that much influence, when you have that much power, who knows what you are trying to achieve here. So, I would definitely say for parents, if you have heard about all these things happening and your kids don't tell you, what I'm saying, make a really tough call here. I know these kids want to fit in, they want to, go to parties, they want to post all these cute pictures, but let me tell you, like, there has to be limits. What I'm saying? When I grew up with social media, there was always limits. My parents never necessarily had to tell me anything, but just for myself, my own guidance system. Whenever I was in a thread or I came across anything that made me feel uncomfortable, I would exit out of it. But not every single child. Hey y'all, I'm back. My phone overheated. Sorry about that. My phone overheated, you all. I apologize, okay? Hope I could put something in front of my phone maybe to make it keep cool, because my phone overheated. So yeah, what I want to say is for the parents out here who maybe their kids don't tell them, to the extent in which they're being harassed or stalked or, any kind of school drama or things they come across that are inappropriate, your kids are not going to tell you, what I'm saying? So you got to make a hard decision. If I had kids right now, in this generation, my kids would not have social media. Like, end of story. My kids would not have social media. And I mean that. And, especially for these kids who are, popular or are very social. This thing is loud. Are very social, at school, they're in different clubs and stuff like that. I would have to have my child's password and account name. You see what I'm saying? And I know teenagers and young kids just starting out college, are not going to want to hear that. But let me tell you, if I was a parent in this day and age, my kid would not have social media. You know what I'm saying? There's just too much bad things that are on there. and there's no censorship, there's no buffer, and your kid could look up anything and everything, and you would never know. Your kid could delete their browsing history. Their friends could show them videos about drugs, and as a parent, you're at work, trying to make some money to survive, right? You're a mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, and you're in the other room, right? You're in the other room, cooking or doing dishes or whatever, raising your other child, and you're not gonna have time to go back on your kid's phone and say, what were you looking at? What kind of posts did you see? I mean, most parents don't even do that. Most parents don't have the time to do that. So I think that with all this information coming out, seriously, I think with all this information coming out, parents should really take a hard look at, is it worth it? For your kid to just be popular and to post themselves, for some kind of fake celebrity life. I mean, is it worth your child's privacy and security and mental health? Is it worth it? I don't think it is. I know for a fact that if I ever told my parents growing up that I ever had an issue on social media, they would have taken that phone from me so quick. But you see, not every parent is like that, Not every parent is going to feel moved enough or feel the need to even do that. You see what I'm saying? Most parents may just say, oh, the kid will know better. But keep in mind, it is still a child. Okay. If it's a teenager, they're not 16, they're not 18. These are children. Okay. Even 16, children. Okay. They're not even 18. They can't even drink. So these are kids. These are not fully developed human beings, who can buffer every issue, can look away from any kind of inappropriate content or racism or debate. Not every child, most kids will never know. What here's my thing. What if a pedophile, what if somebody who traffics children messaged your child, sent a Facebook message to your child? How would you know about that? Unless you actively, I mean, there's no way. I mean, what if there was somebody who, wanted to get your child into drugs, and they're having this weird conversation? As a parent, how do you know? So I don't think it's fair for these tech companies to say, oh, well, it's the parents' responsibility. Kids are smart, teenagers are smart, some are smarter than others. Yeah, but teenagers, peer pressure exists, and, adolescence and hormones kick in and everything else, the world is opening up for them. So maybe they don't want to tell their parents, if they come across somebody saying the N-word, or somebody showing inappropriate pictures. They're kids. So I know that the lady was talking about how Facebook should raise the age limit, but still, I mean, it's not safe. And this is what I've been saying to you all. It's not safe. And if you're going to be, especially the business with content, if you're going to be trying to post everything everywhere, you need to be prepared to be hacked. You have to be prepared to be copycat, ostracized, targeted, because that's what's happening, and I've seen it in real time. This is what happens. And people of all ages think that it doesn't exist. It's not going to happen. They're not going to get addicted to social media. They're not going to have people target them and stalk them and obsess over them because of social media. False. Okay? It's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. I have never found social media safe. I have always seen social media as a great weapon from the enemy, from Satan himself, to destroy families, to destroy the innocence of women. I have always seen it that way. And it will never change. And especially in this generation now with Instagram and the way that cheating is so normalized and raping young women is so normalized and stealing kids off the street is so normalized, I will never support this shit, bro. I will never put a dime in these stocks. You know, I will never, ever, ever be on board with any of this ish. And when I have my kids will not have social media. I hope by then it'll be outlawed. No, really. But I will never support this, you know? And I have people, I have aunts in my family that are kind of like paranoid. And the older I am, and the more this world continues to spin in its pure chaos, is the more I look at people like my aunts and say, you know what? They got a point, man. You know, being afraid to drop your kid off at school, amongst other things, you know, and sometimes you can stop and say, oh, you know, they're paranoid, you know, they're overreacting. Well, are they? You know, are they overreacting when a pedophile can pose as a young girl, a fake profile picture and DM your child? Are we overreacting? I don't think we are, you know? I think social media has caused a complete destruction towards marriages and relationships as a whole. I could extend that to dating apps, you know, young men using dating apps as a way to date rape and drug women, okay? The list goes on and on and on and on and on, okay? This is why I don't use Facebook. This is why I hardly use Instagram, hardly. I put one post from 2018. Okay, I have one picture from 2018. And it's not that I don't like to take pictures of nature and when I go on holiday and of nature and, you know, it's not that I don't like to look at fashion. I do. But there's always been something within me that said, this is not safe. And who's to say who's looking at my profile? You know, who's to say that somebody can't go on my Instagram and look at my pictures and they're masturbating? Okay, without my consent. No, I'm serious. Like, people that are pervy do that, man. They will go on some girl's Instagram and get off on that for free. I mean, it is just so negative. Like, you know, and I hate to make it sound like this, y'all, but this has been my concern for so long, you know, and I thank God for this stupid retrograde right now, because retrograde is beating us up the ass, but I still thank God for it, you know, because to some degree it's exposing so much, you know, and the government, well, hey, people in Congress, let's put it that way, okay, people who actually care about the safety of their own kids, who work in the government, who work in certain sectors, security, et cetera, you know, it's good that they're talking about this, you know. It's long overdue, okay? It's long overdue. So as far as I'm concerned, to hell with it, okay? It's good for small business. Yes, it's good for people who are in creative fields to advertise their work, which most celebrities do. But besides that, what is it really good for? You know, is it safe enough to enjoy? Has it got to the point where it's just uncontrolled, unsafe, you know, a danger to our society, a danger to women and children? You know, is that what it's become, you all? You know, let's get real. Is it just past the pretty faces and the fashion and the celebrities, or is it dangerous? You know, is it dangerous? And I think it is in a lot of ways. You know, I was interested to find out that China banned it. I heard that China banned Facebook. Right? Something about the fact that China banned Facebook. Now, why don't we have these restrictions the same way in America? Right? I'm not saying shut it down, but what I'm saying is, why are they more, you know, I don't want to put country versus country, but nation versus nation, but it's like, besides America, other countries are a lot stricter You know, their kids are allowed to go out in nature and not be afraid of getting snatched up and taken away. You know, there's no circumstance in America, if you have two brain cells, where you would ever leave your child by themselves. You know, there's no way. I think in Japan, or is it Hong Kong or Japan, you know, I don't know if it's the same now, don't quote me, but once upon a time there was something about, oh, Denmark as well, where the kids and the mothers can even leave their babies outside in a stroller and go for a walk. In America, you could never do that. Okay, in America, you could never have your young girl, your young daughter, who is half decent even, on the road by themselves. You can't do it. Okay, you can't do it. And that's what makes me sick to my stomach, because it's like, you want to bring kids into a world like this, you know, you want to keep dog and woman down and talk about, oh, they're not having any kids, and where's the kids, and oh, we're dying, and all this crap. Have you seen the world we live in? Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? It's gotten so bad to the point where I've seen men tell other women to get a gun to protect themselves. I had this happen to me. Okay, these men now are beginning to tell us about how scary these other men are, and how scary the way that social media is set up and these dating apps are set up. These men that actually give a damn are telling women who are smart enough to hear and humble enough to hear that they're being targeted. When you go on these apps, you're like a free piece of meat. Okay, so be careful. Okay, taking booty pictures. Okay, letting your kids go on those apps. Be very careful, you all. Men too. Be very careful showing your diamonds in your cars, in your house, because somebody wants to take it from you. Okay, somebody around the corner wants to take your freedom away. Take your joy, your peace away. Okay, this is an enemy, you know. And what did I say recently? What did I tell you all recently in another video I just did on my channel? The internet is a devil's playground. I said this like 2 weeks ago. I've been saying this. This is one of the many weapons that Satan uses, okay? The dark forces of this world use to hurt people, to manipulate us, to brainwash us. This is deep, okay? This is scary. So, cutting it short and sweet, to the point with this real issue here, when that crash happened, I didn't feel no kind of way about it. I was happy, because to me, I've seen too much craziness go down. I've seen too many people go missing. You know, people cheating like crazy, people stealing people's information, hacking into accounts, stealing money, you name it, okay? I've seen too much chaos, you know? And in fact, when I graduated, I wasn't on social media for like over a month, you know? And I got so much done. And it really made me feel like, you know what? It's so easy for people to be addicted, you know, and not even realize it. So it's important, if you are in social media, take breaks, okay? Log out. I'm not talking about just put your phone down and walk away. I'm talking about log out. Yes, log out. Delete the app. Do not go back on the app for at least a couple days or a week, you know? Test yourself out, okay? If you cannot stay off social media for a day, you're addicted. Okay? If you say to yourself, I have to be posting this picture, I have to be uploading this video, I have to be putting a tweet out about what I ate for breakfast, you're addicted. Okay? And these tech companies got you by the balls. Okay? They got you right where they want you. right where they want you. Who said that you have to share when you get a new car, or when you graduate, or when you get married, or when you buy a new Balenciaga purse, or whatever the case may be? Who said that you have to show that? Use wisdom, I don't do that. I have a lot to show for myself. A lot. And I've never, ever been in a position where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to show what jewelry I just bought. I'm going to show a watch. Why? To be a target? To be a target, right? For not only a crazy person to want to rob me, but for the companies to say, oh, what brand does she buy? Let's spam her whole Instagram account with advertisements now. Let's send her an email about how to get a golden edition watch, right? Let's spam her to hell. Let's type underneath her comments, buy now, free advertisement, real estate. Okay, this is all a game, y'all. And I have studied marketing amongst other information. I've studied a lot to do with this. Okay? And it changed my perspective. Even the way that I talk to sales representatives, you all. Even the way I talk to people who want to sell me things. I'm very cold. Because I know their game. I know their game. And it's not just women and young kids and young girls who are targeted the most, but it's also sometimes men who want to compete with other men, And it's sad. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any positive. I got to be real. Besides a good laugh here, the comedy is top notch. Let's be real. The laughs you get from these apps is what I enjoy the most. Not even about what designer, what celebrity. To me, I enjoy having a good laugh, and staying and keeping up with relatives that live across the pond from me. But besides that, I would never have social media. Really, if I didn't have family that live far away from me, and if I didn't really like to follow certain artists or writers that only put their work out on social media, and the website is not up to date, I would consider deleting it. Not YouTube, because YouTube is different, but I'm saying like Instagram, that type of stuff. I would consider it, because I've seen more damage than good. I've seen it, I've experienced it myself, and if you're not a strong person, you can become a victim very quickly. If you're not a smart person, you can become prey to not only pedophiles and pervs and businesses who are greedy, and these big tech corps and all that type of stuff, but it also affects your mental health, your physical health, your safety. If you're posting where you're eating at, you're not even the address, right? You're at a restaurant and you put tag, I'm at the Angus Steakhouse, the same time, the same day, and you have a person who's a secret admirer or a hater of yours, they could pull up. You know what I'm saying? And they know exactly where you are because you post it. And if you don't post it, they'll go look through your feed and see where do you like to eat, where do you like to go. Okay? It's creepy. It's like enabling stalking. It's like you're enabling yourself to be stalked is what it kind of translates for me. Is there's no real privacy. There's no real security, And I've told you all that with even YouTube, there's no real security. And to me, when it comes to especially living in America, security should be number one right now. Security and national threat should be at the top of the list. Okay. So if the whistleblower or anybody else who's trying to come out of these tech companies and, ring the alarm, okay, the best way to really get better restrictions or to shut it down altogether is national security. Military spending is I can't even overheat it again. My phone overheated again. Everywhere I park, the sun is so bright that it doesn't stop the heat from still impacting the phone, you all. I apologize about that. So what I'm simply saying, you all, is military spending, especially in America, is super, super, super high, abnormally high, okay, unnecessarily high sometimes. So anybody who's wanting to be a so-called whistleblower, or to leave a job, or to try to help fix these apps, or the way that these social platforms and business hacking marketing ways and generator type of programs are run, and analytics and all that, the best argument I could think of, besides everything else I just mentioned, is national security. If anybody, was to go before Congress, or any other way to get things done, and say, listen, and we keep going in this direction, our society is gonna break down completely. We're not gonna be able to protect ourselves. That's the only way I could think that they would actually make a massive change, because as a lady said, they've known this for years, right? They've known for years and years and years that these apps cause anorexia and bulimia and bullying and trolling and societal peer pressures and all types of things. They've been knowing this. They've been having this data. The rise in suicide, the rise in low self-esteem, depression, all types of crazy things that we're not built for. Us human beings are not supposed to be experiencing these type of negative emotions on a daily basis like this. So yeah, I mean, what would compel Facebook or any other of these social media apps to get their act together? Facebook alone made $40 billion. I mean, it is atrocious. Okay, billion is right next to trillion, and billion is right next to million. Okay, it's high, it's up there. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of bargaining power. A lot of money to push things that maybe you should not be pushing. You see what I'm saying? With that kind of money, you could do a lot of evil things. So, and I also, before I go, I want to touch upon, what I've been seeing with a lot of women coming up missing, and, not being able to protect themselves. So women, please, protect yourself. Okay. Get a license to carry. Okay. Protect your home, protect your social media accounts, keep your accounts on private. If you're posting risque stuff, put it on private. Okay. Unfollow some people, block some people. You've had problems with people in the past, right? Stalkers in the past, block them. Go to the police department. Okay. Be proactive. Okay. Do what you can, because I don't expect these platforms to care about us. And I'm also going to say this on an ending note, that I do believe that we're going to get to a point here where, if things don't shape up, they're going to try to find ways to charge us more money. They may find ways to even make these apps purchase only, like a subscription. I've been warning you all about this as well with YouTube too, where they make it to a point where they say you can only use these apps if you want to, at a cost, so they're no longer free. And these apps can also kick back and say, well, okay, well, it's so dangerous, let's just charge you. Let's charge every single person, $10 a month. And they're still winning. They're still taking our money. Okay. So this is just, my reaction. I think it's good that people are really thinking about the fact that they need to, really connect with their family and nature and themselves, and really ask yourself, are you addicted? Have you experienced any kind of scary behavior from other people, or stalking, or bullying, or trolling? Have you experienced those things? I don't care what age you are. Have you experienced severe negative activity? And if you have, and it's affecting you, please don't stay on these apps. Get off these crap apps, because they don't care. They don't care if somebody kills himself over somebody calling them ugly. They don't care. They sure do not. Even if they have whistleblowers up the wazoo, they don't care. Okay? They don't care. They don't care. They can't see every single one of us. They can't see every one of these kids out here. They have no idea. So, you know, I don't know. I think it could also be stretched to social media apps with catfishing, people who are sex offenders, raping people, date rape. I think anything in terms of technology is an issue right now. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. You know, what happened to a man courting a woman, okay, in public, you know, distance, you know, asking for her hand or asking for a way to reach her politely, not just swiping left on her, swiping right on her, and posting a picture of his penis. Okay, this is how technology has made it, you all. So think about this. You know, it's just been more negative. You know, there's been positive, there's been silver linings every now and then. But for the most part, it's doing more bad than good, and I think that we all can see that. Okay? So, what I'm going to say is use these apps to your advantage, you know? Don't buy into the hype. Okay? If you see that there's certain ads popping up, which happens even to me on certain apps, you know, train your mind to surpass it, because if you don't, they will get you. Okay, they'll get your money quick. And in times like this, you need to save money. You got to be safe. You got to be healthy. Okay, it's not a joke, because they've been fooling us for years. They have been abusing people for years. They have been beating down women for years on these exact apps right here, and causing these warped perceptions and this erratic behavior, causing mass murderers and mass people who are what do you call them, mass shooters? What do you call those people who do those terrorist attacks? Right? Just mass shooters. I think that's the name for it. Where they go out, they pick a certain event that's trending on a social media app, and they go there and they kill people. Even that. Okay, maybe even that. Maybe even with that, social media has caused these people to say, I want to be famous for 5 seconds, and I want someone to catch me on video shooting up a whole open crowd at a concert. I mean, it's sick, people. You know, they need to investigate. Have we had this many mass shootings before social media? They need to investigate this. Has social media caused all these mass shootings to spike because these people get this profile raised, and they people know about their name, their user accounts, and their family and all this type of stuff, and they go on people's apps and look at what they posted? I see it all the time. You know, if a guy kills his girlfriend, he's like freaking, it's like free advertisement. You know, the face everywhere, the Facebook, Instagram name everywhere. Okay, it's weird. You know, who are behind these platforms? Think about it. What is their purpose? Think about it. Is their purpose to help us, or is their purpose to harm us? Because guess what? All the spiritual teachers and all the people who help people, like really help people, they have books. Okay? Eckhart Tolle is one to name a few, right? He has a YouTube channel. I believe he has a Twitter account, which I follow him on both. But guess what? If anything was to ever happen with those accounts, I got his books and audiobooks. So the information that I needed to attain through his spiritual teaching and his directed way to live a less stressful life, those skills are in the book, not in the app. Are you hearing me, y'all? The skills are in the book, not the app. Any person who's into investing, marketing, anything like that, they have products, they have services, or if they don't, they should, because this whole social media thing, it's not looking too good, people. It's not looking too good. So even to the spiritual community like myself, you're a reader, you're a psychic, you're an intuitive, whatever you are, have a website, You know, do a third party app if you don't feel safe on YouTube like myself. Go to Vimeo, make your own website. You know, make sure you advertise your own for free, your own domain, your own platform, because this may be gone. You know, the more extreme case is that this may be gone. It may be gone, y'all. And then what? And then what? And then what? Do you have a backup? Do you have a website? Right? Is your data saved? So get ready, y'all, because who knows? Right now, people are questioning a lot, and they need to. They really need to, especially in America. They need to question if this is worth it. I don't think it is, people. So like I said, if you're really into spirituality and self-improvement and self-betterment and a healthy lifestyle, don't worry about social media. Like, seriously, don't worry. Because you can download old videos, or you could just purchase their books, or you can go on the website, and I'm sure they'll have live streams and seminars through that way. I think Vimeo, you could live stream on Vimeo. So just for an example, I'm just saying, let's putting it out here. People say, oh, well, how about the video? How about the audio? Well, on another third-party website that's not as social media-esque related, they can still do that. Okay, may not be as easily accessible, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, we can still access it through the books or live streams on other platforms, or, you know, website updates. May not be as instant, but hey, it's something. You know, we may have to go back to that system. We may have to start thinking about people's health, the health of our society, and take it seriously, or we're in trouble. And I'm serious, y'all. I've been feeling this for a long time now. You know, even the way it impacts dating, it impacts our relationships. It's scary, y'all. And we got to put a stop to this. So either you delete your account, right? You stop going on as much, or you got kids, you taper down a schedule where your kids can be on it, and while you're around, you ask your kids questions. If they don't answer truthfully, you look into their history, you look into how you can really clink down on their visibility and impose restrictions, because if not, how would your kids know? How would you know? And as a parent, if I was a parent, my kids wouldn't have social media. My kids wouldn't have, they wouldn't have anything, because they're kids. Okay, they're not models. They're not little celebrity demon children. They're kids. They're kids. And at least when I was a child, I didn't have that issue. In high school was when everything started to kind of unravel, right? But when I was in like middle school, elementary school, we never had those issues. And I think, and I praise God that I wasn't raised in that kind of era before it got really bad, because I won't even know. The things I see now with these young kids, I feel bad for them, man. I feel really bad for them, because they think that they need to, because Kylie Jenner, when Kylie was coming up in the Kardashian family, I can recall going to stores shopping, and I would hear little girls with their mother saying, with Hannah Montana and Kylie Jenner, oh, why don't I have a Mercedes truck? That was like the in car back in the day. I'll never forget one time I was walking into Walmart, and I heard this young girl say to her mom, why don't I have that? Why don't I have that? All because of fucking social media. Kylie posting all the loads of cars. And now it's not her fault, right? It ain't her fault either. Kylie was born into that. Like a lot of those spoiled kids are. But then your kids see that. Your kids see that. And your kids say, why don't I have that? Why don't we have that? You know, never worked a day in their life. They don't realize the real world, man. So I don't know. When it comes to the whole kid thing, I think it's unsafe, man. I think that grown adults who have a business or they want to promote themselves is a different ballgame, man. But when you get teenagers involved, when you get young kids involved, man, it should be off limits, really. I don't think it should even be allowed. So I'm going to get off here, y'all. That's all I have to say. You know, I was trying to make this video maybe at 30 minutes, but the phone kept overheating, so I had to kind of push it back. And that's fine, because you know what? I could say a lot more. You know, the truth of the matter is, I could say a lot more about what I've experienced, what I've witnessed with it, with not just the marketing side of it, but a whole lot of other stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I've been telling y'all this for a while now. So ladies, strap up. Parents, protect your kids. Okay? Young adults, don't sell your soul for a couple likes. Don't risk your security for these men who want to stalk you and lust after you. Be careful, because they're doing it, man. And they're taking girls off the street and they're killing them. And it's all social media, man. It's all social media to blame. I'm telling you. Partially, but mainly. Because how else will they know the location and where they go and who they see and if they're dating? That's personal. That's private. You know, one time in high school, I was dating this guy, got in a relationship with this guy, and I had to update I'm back in the day when I had Facebook, I had to update my relationship status. And it was, to me, it was the most outer body, strangest experience, having to update friends and family that, oh yeah, I'm in a relationship with this person, you know? And it was I felt it was very uncomfortable, because like, okay, I could put taken, right? You want to put taken, but then sometimes you want to make sure that people know that you're not lying and that, hey, this person's off limits or you're off limits, right? And that's social media for you, you know? And then you get stalkers and you get haters and you get people trying to DM your person, right? You know, but famously with Instagram, a lot of girls, they try not to tag their boyfriends, because the other people will want to get their boyfriends, okay, their boyfriend, right? What kind of society is this, man? I mean, it's sacred, it's private, you know? Who you make love to, your children, your health, these things are off limits. And social media has made it in a way where it's not off limits. And that is going to be a huge issue. Forget 10 years, 5 years trajectory. We're talking about 2 cap, where this could capitulate society, and we could be seeing a lot of crime and a lot of instability in the family, within family setups, even worse than it is now. And it may be the end of us, you know what I'm saying, as a civilized nation at its core. I mean, it may be the end of how we see each other, how we do business, how we protect ourselves, how we protect our identity. You see how deep this goes? I didn't even talk about that. I did not even talk about how somebody could steal your identity, can steal your pictures and re-upload it for profit. Your videos, your pictures, any kind of social media, and sell it. Revenge porn, right? A boyfriend, you break up with your boyfriend, he got a video of you on your knees. Boom. How many times have we seen that, and then girls go and kill themselves because they're embarrassed? I've seen that when I was in high school. I'm serious, y'all. All on what? Social media. So y'all connect the dots for yourself, man. Y'all connect the dots for yourself. And on top of that, certain companies want to have your information. They want to track you as well. They hire you. When does it, you see how deep this goes? It's a rabbit hole of nonsense, and it's not safe. So that's all I want to say to you all. Make your own conclusion, whether you're for or against, or really into social media, or you're not into social media. It is something that is very scary, you all. It is very scary, in my opinion. Okay? And I don't know how it's ever going to be fixed. Can it be fixed? Can it be changed? I don't know. Okay? But it's a big issue. And this is just my reaction to the crash, and to the whistleblower, and to everything else going on with social media that I think is very disturbing. Love you all. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like, and thumbs up. You could share if you want to friends and family who agree with what I'm saying, okay? And, you know, want better for ourselves and health in all ways, not just physical, not just security, but also mental, psychological, you know, societal, how you deal with other people. It's very important. So you all, God bless, take care, stay safe. Ladies, you know, protect yourselves. You know, if you do what you got to do. Okay? Bye.